Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Today we have Miss Andresa Borges with us. Andresa has done her bachelor's from Vaga Giomeda University in Brazil and her major was biology. Currently, she is an integrated student for master's and PhD in Oswaldo de Cruz Foundation and her specialization is molecular and cellular biology. So, with this brief introduction, I would like to welcome Andresa at the platform for taking time out and being our researcher celebrity today.
Oh, thank you very much for the inviting. I'm happy to be here and share my experience with you.
Yes. So, Andresa, how we start our conversations is how and when you decided that you wanted to be a researcher.
Oh, yeah, this is funny. When I was in my high school, I had a lot of doubts about what are you gonna do for living, and I was in doubt if I would be a doctor because I would like to do medicine or biology. And I think in the end, I chose biology. And I think in my second year of university, I started internship that in Brazil we called literally translation,
Mhm.
uh, a scientific initiation. So
Yes.
a lot of undergrad students can do apply for it, and you start work in a lab, in a real lab.
Mhm.
And as Oswaldo Cruz Foundation, I think they have a mark on my life because I have worked with them my all life since I was undergrad. And I
Mhm.
started in a lab. I was in my sophomore year and I was starting work with parasitology.
Mhm.
And it was very important to me because it was my first contact working
Mhm.
in a lab, in a real lab with researchers and grad students. And I learned to pipette for the first time there,
Mhm.
searching for articles. And I think in that moment, I decided, oh, I think I want to be a researcher. I like this life, this type of life.
Mhm.
But it was interesting because after 1 year, I started to have doubts if I would like to work with parasitology.
Mhm.
I was like, I had classes about basic genetics in college and molecular biology, and my eyes was like, oh, this is an amazing universe. I think I
Mhm.
like this more. And it was difficult for me at the time because I was in a lab working
Mhm.
with parasitology by 1 year,
Mhm.
and I decided to quit. I
Mhm.
decided, no, I don't want to work with parasitology anymore.
Mhm.
I will pursue a place for me to start working with molecular biology.
Mhm.
And I think this is important because when we are undergrad, we have to try it. We
Yes.
have a lot of possibilities. Biology is a huge university. You can work with viruses, you can work with ecology. And my advice is try it. You can
Mhm.
try, you can work in a lab. If you don't like this subject, you can change,
True.
you know? And I decided to quit. I
Mhm.
talked to my advisor at that time. It was like, are you sure? Because we can do a master's with us. I was like, yeah, but I don't think parasitology is my thing. I want to
Mhm.
pursue other things.
Mhm.
So I quit the lab and I started working with my professor at the university with genetics. And
Mhm.
it was really cool. In the
Mhm.
time I finished my bachelor's working with genetics. But I think in my last year, I subscribed to participate of a course in the
Mhm.
other university. They have a course called Biology Week, and this
Mhm.
week is we have a lot of lectures, we have mini courses, workshops, and one workshop there it was my nowadays advisor. She was
Mhm.
talking about insects and the genes that control the behavior in insects. And I was fascinating for the lecture. I was like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness, there is a genes that control the behavior. How
Mhm.
come?
Mhm.
And after it, I sent an email to her and said, I really love Oh, sorry. I really love the your lecture. I can go in your lab and talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And she accepted me,
Mm-hmm.
and I start an internship there,
Mm-hmm.
working with insects and molecular biology and
Mm-hmm.
studying the genes that control behavior. And I'm there since then.
Mm-hmm.
It
That's a
was,
great.
I
Yeah.
think it was 2016, and
Mm-hmm.
we are in 2023, and I am there.
Beautiful. I believe that this passion and then the interest, enthusiasm which brings you to PhD is something which I believe every researcher share, because commitment for PhD is something which needs to be taken care of very well in advance, because when we are talking about a span of 3 years plus 4 years plus whatever, how many numbers of years, and so at Researcher Celebrity platform, when we interact with our audience and viewers, we try to tell them that there is nothing wrong in stepping back also if you want extra time
Yes,
to prepare yourself. As
yes,
Andresa just mentioned about her quitting first parasitology because she felt that it is not the field which she want to pursue further,
yes.
and there is nothing wrong in that. So Andresa, when you started your mosquitoes work, how you wanted to do cellular and molecular biology, so starting from writing the email to the professor and then spending 5 6 years with them, how the relationship between a mentor and a mentee affects being your development of a researcher.
Oh, I think it's very important. You need to have a great relationship with your mentor, I think, because we know that sometimes is some students have problems with your mentor, but I think the success of my projects, and I am there until now because me and my mentor, I think we are friends right now. So it's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of time together, and I respect her so much. I admire her, and I think it's important. You have to admire a person that you working with, and she allows me to put my ideas on the project, and
Mm-hmm.
we can discuss the results and everything together. So I think it's very important you have a good relationship with your mentor, and the success of the project and your PhD or master's, of course, is affected by the good relationship that you have.
Nice. Andresa, you mentioned about friendship and admiration, still respecting the person, because we have seen or heard the stories where after spending a couple of years, it just derails and students move out of that, which is a lot of damage we can see for the mentor who has invested the time into the student, as well as for the student because they have almost half done their PhD, but
Yes,
because of differences or the things, they are not on the same page, especially the point which you mentioned, that they allow you to be free to pursue
yes,
your dreams, your thoughts, your ideas, and they are welcoming that. This is how they help you becoming developing a researcher inside you, because if you are given a project and all the guidelines that okay, you are only going to stick with this to complete your PhD, then the researcher inside you is still stuck somewhere and not that free.
yes.
So what are your thoughts about the mentors giving this chance to the students, the PhD students who either they are just enrolling or have been a couple of years in the lab, and then when now the mentor says that okay, I welcome your ideas, let's work what you want to work on.
Yes.
How was your experience with this idea?
I think it's the process to be a researcher. I think that all the mentors have to do this because the mentor is preparing a person to be a scientist.
Yes.
So I think when the mentors see and oh my God, my student has his own ideas, her own ideas, I think it's a great job. I think I prepared this person well, and I think when I don't know if I will be, but if I will be a mentor of someone in the future, I would like to see it because I think we can see the students growing. I'm becoming a mature scientist. Now I have my own ideas. I can think critically about something. So I think all the mentors should do this and allows the student to be free. Of course, we have to discuss and we have to respect them because I
Yes.
think it's very important to keep a relationship based on the respect. But of course, the mentors has to 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 allow the student to be free to have
Absolutely.
their own ideas. Yes.
Nice. And Andresa, now we are having this conversation. You brought out something very important. You said that one day you will be a mentor. How about if we say that in countries like Brazil and India, so whenever you across like 3 or 4 years of your PhD, so now the
Mm-hmm.
new student comes, they join the lab, and you are actually mentoring them. You are telling them how to set up those experiments. So you
Mm-hmm.
already are a mentor. You
Mm.
are mentoring students. So
Yeah,
don't wait for years because you
yeah,
are doing it rightly.
yeah. This is crazy because before I came here, we received a student from scientific initiation, and
Mm-hmm.
I was training her. And yeah, we already do this, not
Absolutely.
officially, but we are do this. And
See?
when I do this, I try to do my best to pass the person the knowledge that I have. And this thing that I think is so important to make the person comfortable to talk with me if she doesn't agree with something, the project, or if the person has their own ideas. I think it's important because some mentors, some don't think the student can be free in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do this, blah blah blah. But it's not like that. It's
True.
not like that. So when I mentoring someone, I try to do this. Okay, you agree with that? Do you think we can do this? But the results like this. What do you think about this? What do you think about the expression of these genes like that? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can stimulate the discussion about the
Absolutely.
subject.
And that is the reason why we are having this conversation at Researcher Celebrity, because empowering Science Foundation, we believe in breaking the barriers. And one of the barrier which is seen in the field of research, that some PIs are very strict about following the path because
Yes.
they believe that the PhD student is their responsibility and they are supposed to leave the lab in 3 years or in 5 years. So to keep it short, they just give them all the projects, the
Mm-hmm.
protocols, which they just do, and without maturing them as a researcher, which
Yeah.
is not the right thing to do. But obviously, it is beneficial for the student. But what they realize after 3 years is like, I never brought up my own project. I never thought of having ideas that what can be
Mm-hmm.
performed.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of this, now when you have given you are fortunate enough to work with a supervisor which gives you all this freedom, and we
Yes.
see that you are already imbibing those qualities, that you are also mentoring the same way,
Yes. Yes.
allowing them all the freedom. How important is the role of internships in a PhD student life,
In do this.
in doing internships?
Oh, I think is so important because we can learn a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
think the experience of learning a lot. Uh, Talking about my personal experience, I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
an internship here right now.
Mm-hmm.
I could learn how to do a new technique. I could improve my English skills, for example,
Mm-hmm.
because I could imagine I was talking with you in English a
Mm-hmm.
couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can change experience with other people. So do internship can prepare you for the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very, very important. And I wish that everyone could have this opportunity to do it.
Nice. So I would like to tell all of our viewers and audience that Andresa is presently visiting in Texas A&M, College Station, United States, and she is the one who had that opportunity to move from Brazil to United States to pursue her dreams, to broaden the horizons of her research. For all the viewers, I would like to say that always try to find these opportunities where you can visit abroad, or in collaborative labs, because that enhances your research experiences apart from cultural richness. Obviously, as Andresa said, it is just not only the language, but also the richness of the culture whenever you are
Yes,
moving the countries and the
yes,
globe.
yes,
So,
yes.
so Andresa, when you got the opportunity to move from Brazil to United States for the internship program, what was the first thought which came to your mind that you want to? Uh, was it United States or was it the science-driven lab which you wanted to work with? What was that?
Um, when I have this opportunity, my first thought, I cannot lie. I was freaking out. Oh my God, I'll be moving to another country. But I mentioned you before the recording, and I will tell again. I met my advisor here in United States through a meeting during pandemic. So we could do a network because he was giving a lecture about his experiment here in the United States, and me and my advisor in Brazil was like, oh my goodness, we we want to do this. Maybe we can talk to him. Maybe we can send him an email and try to start a collaboration. So when I applied for internship, I sent to her a message. Oh, I have an internship. I think I can go to United States. Do you accept me? And he accepted me. So the first thing was it. So that's why I could find a lab here through a virtual meeting. So it's important to participate to Congress seminars because you can do network. So
Yes.
it's very important. So, but my first feeling was fear because it would be my first time living abroad,
Mhm.
away from my family, from my friends. I didn't know anyone here. So
Mhm.
I came here alone and say, yeah, I will do this. I will start a new work at the lab. But my first thought was fear, and I was like grateful because I knew it would be a good opportunity for me in so many levels. Of course, professional levels because I'm learning a lot in this lab, and I have no doubt of this. But in a personal aspect too, I think I'm growing as a person because I'm in contact with another culture, with another people, with another language. So I think the benefit is a challenging it's really challenging to move to a country to another to work alone, but I think the benefits are really nice and worth it.
Absolutely. True. And this is one thing which I always try to converse with our audience, that PhD is a degree, yes, but it is your lifetime training. It trains you, as Andresa said, scientifically, yes, you are driven by someone's work. That's the reason why
Yes.
you want to work with them. But when you are traveling, like Andresa said, just by yourself, it gives you a different confidence that as a person, also you can exist in different places and successfully maintain yourself. You feel that confidence because when you are not given, and especially a country like in India, most of the students don't move out of their work, from their family. They stay
Hmm.
with them for the rest of their lives, starting
Yes.
from
In
and
Brazil,
start
the same
working.
thing.
Yeah. So this is something which we have to understand, because countries like United States and other countries, their moving out as a student is normal. Whenever they cross 18, they are supposed to move out from their family homes and be an independent. But countries like India and Brazil, as you just mentioned, people just stay with the family and always are in that cocoon, preserved by parents and
Yes.
pampered. But it is science which teaches you that, okay, not everything is going your way. When experiment doesn't work, you feel frustrated. But
Yes.
when you move to another country, because you know your science, you are very confident about it. But now comes the language barrier. Now
Hmm.
comes the words. So the way you use words in one country, the same words mean different.
Yes.
And this is also one of the cultural shocks. So how you felt, Andresa, when you moved from Brazil to United States, if you can share some incidences or story, whatever.
I don't think I have a remarkable incident, but the question of the language is really important. I remember my first month here, I was I was feeling I was a little bit lonely, and I was afraid to speak because I was always thinking if I say something wrong, if my grammar is not perfect, so I think I closed myself and don't do this. I think people here are so open to you. If you can speak and they can understand you, just to speak. You don't be afraid to make mistakes. But I
Mhm.
had to.
Mhm.
So I did this, and I don't recommend to you. If you're moving to another place, just come on, speak,
Absolutely.
speak. You have to to learn, and the best thing to learn is come on, digging yourself into it. And
Absolutely.
and yeah, it was I don't think that I had some remarkable thing about the
Mhm.
language, but I think in the beginning I was too closed, and I
Mhm.
don't think it's a good idea.
Nice. Okay, so Andresa, there a small piece from India. So in India, we have way more than hundreds of languages.
Oh yeah.
And how I see always is like whenever I move out, I don't know so many languages, almost none of the Indians traditional languages. So I believe the conversation goes that I want to talk to someone, so I want to convey a message, and if I convey that, doesn't matter that I know the language or not. And I think that is exactly what you are saying. Just speak up. The
Yeah,
conversation goes with that, and
yeah,
this is the beauty of human brains, that we still can interact without knowing the perfect language or grammar.
yeah.
So when you were planning to move to United States, how the family and friends, responded to that?
Oh, okay. My family was so happy because they knew it that I really wanted this. And
Mm-hmm.
was I expecting the results of my internship, my family, calm down, you'll be okay. And I remember that I once see on the internet, I called my mom because I don't live with my parents in Brazil, but we live in the same state, but not in the same city.
Mm-hmm.
So I called my mom, I go to the United States. And she was so happy for me. My father, I have two brothers, and it was like, oh my God, you are cool. You are going. So they really supported me
Mm-hmm.
because in Brazil it's not easy to do science.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, first, because we don't have investment on it.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the United States, because I think here in the United States, some private companies can financial the research. In Brazil, it's not like that. It's basically
Mm-hmm.
the government financial research in there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy because we are not well paid.
Mm-hmm.
So really struggling with that. So I
Mm-hmm.
had financial and emotional support from my family to keep on science. It was
Mm-hmm.
really difficult. And when I passed and I knew that I am coming to here, and they were so happy for me. They really
Mm-hmm.
happy because they knew that I really wanted to. And my friends too. My friends supported me. Of course, they was like, "Oh, we're gonna miss you," but everyone was supporting me. I think it's really important when you have people that are with you, giving your hand and say, "Okay, you're realizing your dreams." So yeah, they 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 were really happy.
Nice. So, Andresa, if I ask the follow-up question that what are their roles in you being a researcher? So, if Andresa is a brilliant researcher, what is the role of family and friends in that, or their contribution?
The contribution, I think the honestly the psychological contribution that my family gave me because
Yeah.
sometimes
Mm-hmm.
uh I mean it's not easy to be a scientist. We have struggling and sometimes experiments don't work, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to work a lot. I was
Mm-hmm.
talking to you, I have to go to the lab on the weekend
Mm-hmm.
to do because I had some experiment to do and I have to go there. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I feel some frustrated or some tired. And the rule of them is okay, it's gonna be work.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, keep doing. You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So always that I remember my family, and the rule there them and my scientific life is giving me support. So I think it's
Nice.
very important.
So that's what we always share with our audience, that always keep your these are the people who are there for you when your experiments are not working. These are the people who calms you down when you are frustrated and irritated, and then
Yeah.
these are the people who gives you that strength to do experiment next day after failure of the present day. Okay, so if
Hmm.
something is not working for a month or a week, we can say,
Yeah.
and you don't feel like tomorrow going to the lab, these are the people who believe in you. And as you correctly said,
Yeah.
that psychological support, when
Yeah.
they are emotionally there, they are very important. And in fact, they are the lifesavers of almost all of the researchers.
Yeah.
So Andresa, now when you will start compiling your thesis, what are the future you consider for yourself or to pursue the research? Because as you correctly mentioned, in India, in Brazil, funding opportunities are not very many, so
Yeah.
you have to explore the opportunities abroad. So
Hmm.
how do you see that, and what do you suggest to other, viewers who are doing PhD in developing countries, that what are the key factors they should think about and parameters they should start thinking before submitting their thesis?
Yeah. I think it's a sensitive content because, yeah, for us in Brazil, I think in India, it's really difficult continuing on research for a long time to be a professor because we have a lot of difficulty on financing. But I think we have to keep our minds open to the opportunities. Maybe you can consider, for example, work in an industry can be okay. You can continue doing your research, but for a private company, or you can move to another country that can give you more opportunities to follow your dreams. So I think the most important thing is keep your mind open to new opportunities that can come to you. In my case, for example, I will finish my PhD next year, and I was a little bit, oh my God, what are you gonna do right now? And I don't know if I want to keep on academia, but I know that now I'm living here in the United States, so I know the things, I know how the things works here. Maybe I can try to apply for a postdoc position here, for example, or maybe I can go to the industry. So yeah, that's the thing that I'm doing. Keep your mind open. And I think now I am like this. My mind are open to new opportunities that come to me, and I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do next, but I'm just exploring the opportunities that come to me.
Nice. Keeping yourself open is also a very big positive, because sometimes we have seen people perishing because of they just wanted to be in academia
Yeah,
and don't have opportunities there, or
yeah.
someone struggling to just get into industry without availing the opportunities which are there in academia. So I believe that you are on a perfect path where you will succeed whenever like in very near future. So now let's talk about the mental pressure or mental health of a PhD student when
Hmm.
things are not working well, or when the projects are not going well. How do you deal with that?
Okay, so uh, in Brazil is a little bit different because we have these things can happen. The protest probably is not going well, the experiments don't work, but we have an additional thing that is not well paid there. So many students in Brazil suffer with psychological things like depression, anxiety, because there's a lot of things happening. So one thing that I do that helped me a lot is therapy. I think it's really good. You search for a professional that can help you. So I have weekly therapy, and I think it's amazing. And we have to good. Now's the point. You need to have a good relationship with your advisor, your mentor, because if the experience is not working, you have to talk with them and discuss what's happening. So that point is important for you to have a good relationship for with your advisor. and maybe share the problems with your colleagues in the laboratory because someone can give you an idea. Oh, this is not working. Maybe you can try to do this. So I think we have to discuss with our colleagues to know what's happening. I think it's a good idea because sometimes you are alone and trying to solve all the things. It's not like that. Science is not one person. I don't believe in this. I think science is shared knowledge. We don't do science alone. Even though I have my own projects, but I have people helping me. In my lab here in the United States, for example, we have people that create the mosquitoes for me. So I'm not working alone, even though I'm injecting the mosquitoes alone. But I have someone that's working and helping me. So science is not about doing your thing by yourself. No, you can share the problems with the
Mhm.
others, and the others can help you. So I think it's a good idea. And the process of mental health,
Mhm.
you have to maybe a professional support can help you and give you strength to keep going,
Mhm.
even the difficulties along this process.
Nice. So, Andresa, you mentioned about the weekly, visits for the therapy. So, is this something which is covered in the university system, or people have to look for their own on a personal basis?
I think it's a personal business. I do my therapy with a Brazilian professional, so we through virtual meetings weekly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I started that during pandemic because I think pandemic affected a lot of students. In
Yes.
Brazil, for example, the Oswaldo Cruz Foundation was closed for almost 1 year. So all the projects were delayed. We had so much things to do and some deadlines we couldn't uh, do because the university was closed. So I think it was a time for suffering for all people.
Mm-hmm.
But for us in academia, the pandemic, it was really hard
Mm-hmm.
because we couldn't do our work. So I
Mm-hmm.
started then
Mm-hmm.
my therapy. And some universities has this program of mental health. So my advisor for the students that are watching is trying to find if your university provides you some kind of this. But in my case, I do for my own business.
Nice. Okay, here I would like to tell all of the viewers that the point Andresa made is very valid. And I believe if you feel, even if you feel stressed, there is nothing wrong in looking for therapy options because at some point of time, we all need it. It is
Yeah.
just we don't accept it, and there is no bravery in not accepting. Bravery is in accepting that, okay, there is a need where I need to talk to someone. If you have friends and families, obviously you can talk to them, but just because they are not professionally trained in handling the situations like that, it is good if you can get a professional approach towards it and succeed, because researchers never gives up. This is one thing which we know, and this is one
Yes.
thing which PhD teaches us for the lifetime, that never give up. If something
Yes.
doesn't work today, they will work tomorrow or day after, but they have to work because it's science, and science follows some basic rules.
Yes.
So that is one thing which we all learned during the PhD. So,
Yes.
Andresa, now we are walking towards the edge of our conversation. How is the experience of your PhD till now, if you have to sum up in a paragraph?
Oh, oh, in one paragraph of experience, I think my PhD is about strength,
Mm-hmm.
don't give up, and study a lot. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing is important. We have to study. We don't have to be lazy to study and searching and discuss and expose ourselves to a knowledge. So yeah, but it's really difficult to put in one paragraph because it's so many things to do, but when you have to do, nothing come out. But I think is a PhD is a challenging pathway. Is a beautiful but really challenging. You have to. So I think it's important to give a support, emotional support, because it's not easy. But it's really good when you doing your experiment and you're thinking critically and you are doing what you like. So I feel happy to be the opportunity of to be a scientist And I was okay, moving people in the lab. I think it's really nice. It's a hard profession, but is I think it's worth it. So yeah, I think PhD is about trends, don't give up and keep going.
Nice. I think that is very motivating for new students who are considering that they want to pursue PhD. So now, based on your own experience, what do you suggest if a student in India or in Brazil per se,
Mhm.
that if they are looking, they are watching your video, okay, and they have the dilemma in their head that should they continue PhD or should they do something else. So, what are your suggestions for the person who is thinking or in dilemma if they want, if they
Mhm.
should do a PhD or not?
Okay, I think it's of course it's based on case by case,
Mm-hmm.
but if you want to do this, go ahead and do it. But you have to know that it's not an easy path. That
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to say. It's not an easy path. It's a really, really challenging. You have to consider a lot of aspects of money aspects of, for example, you're in Brazil and want to do a PhD. We are now well paid, but you want to do anyways. Okay. But I don't think we don't have to say don't do it. No, no, no. I think if you want to do it, keep going. The path is not easy, but it's worth it. You'll
Sweet.
be a challenging pathway, but you
Mm-hmm.
can do it. So yeah.
Absolutely. That was motivating in a way that a PhD student, uh, like if they will watch it, they probably will just go say following you. So now you have the responsibility of them also. So with this, what we say to all of our viewers that at researcher celebrities, when we are having these conversation with researchers from different stages of their career. So you
Hmm.
being a PhD student, some of our researcher celebrities are emeritus professors who are retired long
Yeah.
back. Some
Hmm.
of them are early faculties, some of them are postdocs looking for this. So when a researcher have these views of people who are doing research at the different stage. So now
Hmm.
a PhD student, if we'll have you another episode of researcher celebrity with you after 10 years, when you will be published
Oh,
professor somewhere,
it
then
would be interesting if I could watch it after 10 years. Yeah.
absolutely, why not? Because this is what we work towards for. Even if you are in academia or in industry or doing independent research, you are
Hmm.
doing research because this is something which you want to do for the rest of
Yes.
your life. And that's
Yes.
what makes us researcher who never gives up till they are, even the researchers, how we see
Yeah.
that as like now people are still working on the theories of Newton, of, Einstein. So they might not be here, but the research is still going on. So
Yeah.
you will also start something like now when people will just always remember that Andresa has started this. Now the
Yeah.
legacy
And
goes.
one thing that you said is important because sometimes people are resistant to go to industry, for example, because I won't be a researcher anymore. No, you always be a researcher. It's in
Yes,
your
yes,
blood, I think. So yeah, don't be afraid to change your pathway to for example, your academia, go to industry because you are a researcher.
yes, absolutely. So Andresa, now I would like to ask a question that what are your thoughts on you being a researcher celebrity?
Whoa, where is my tolerance?
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know if I understood.
Okay, so let's keep it this way. Do you think you are a researcher celebrity?
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
Okay, so let's make me this simple for you.
I
At
don't know if I
Empowering Science
am.
Foundation, where we believe in breaking the barriers,
Hmm.
Researcher Celebrity is the series where we celebrate research. So now, if
Okay,
I
it's
ask you,
yeah,
if I
yes,
ask you, do you think you are a researcher?
yes.
So you are our researcher celebrity.
Now I am, I think.
So
Yeah.
here I would like to say thanks to you for taking time out and sharing the journey, which will motivate so many students to get into PhD. And if now they want to have a conversation with you, they can write it to you, because in
Yes,
the
of
video
course.
we'll release, yes, the link. Now the viewers, it is up to you. You can write directly to Andresa. She is a passionate researcher, which now I believe you can figure out with this conversation. And if you want Empowering Science Foundation to put you in touch with our researcher celebrities, feel free, write it to us, and then we'll put you in contact with our researcher celebrities to have you a broader view of what researcher is. Or if you have a specific question, please feel free to write it to us or Andresa. So Andresa, now you are getting emails from our followers, viewers, and I believe that you will guide them with
Okay, I'm
this.
so happy if you want to write for me. I'll really be happy to talk to you. So feel
Yeah.
free to do it. So you put my email address when the videos
Mm-hmm.
come out? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you very much, Andresa, and very good luck for your future.
Thank you having so much for having me, and it was a great conversation. Thank you, Raja.
Have a good one.